Hello and welcome to Mighty Obstacle Studios Month in Review for April 2024. Interesting month. I started it with a vacation and also getting sick before and during that vacation. How great. I'm feeling better now, but I did spend a good third of the month out of commission for this. But don't let that fool you into thinking I haven't gotten anything done. Let's talk about the new character I'm revealing. This is Professor Ray Scales. He's a scientist that has a hyperfixative personality. Any little thing gets his attention, and he's usually asking for scraps on the battlefield to see if he can turn them into new weapons. That's actually how Scout gets new weapons in the game. Besides weaponry, he's also an expert in medicine, and is a helpful lead in the first act, when Scout is getting ingredients. Ingredients for what, you may ask? There will be more on that in a later month in review. His fixations and nearly manic personality make him a very lively person and definitely one that has a lot of energy all the time. Ironic when you see him being, well, an alligator, which aren't really known for constant rapid movements. I guess unlike other reptiles, he has a 4-chamber heart. Oh yeah, why are there furries and scalies in the world of Scouter? Well, about 150 to 200 years ago, an event known as the Chimera Wars occurred. This war involved cool super robots and a mad scientist who experimented on people, turning them into animal hybrids named chimeras. After the war, they were still people and technically hostages from that scientist, so they integrated into society. While Scales here is a full-blown chimera, Scout is called a chimera kin, meaning she has a human and chimera parent, hence why she only has the ears and tail. There are variations where they also have paws on their hands and feet, or maybe they have claws, but Scout is more on the human end of that. Now let's actually talk about the game itself. I figured out how to not just use audio, but go all the way down to looping it. Turns out, it's similar to what I used when I made source maps in TF2 and CSS. Godot has an option to be able to loop audio at any point via samples timing or beat timing. In fact, the music you're listening to right now, I looped in Godot. Yeah, this isn't me doing video editing, you are listening to me recording it in Godot for 10 minutes to make sure that it sounds good. Honestly, I'm super happy with the fact I got this, and it's great. I still need a little bit more money before I go hunting for composers, but as I've said in the last 2 videos, any composers that you have recommendations for, I'm more than welcome to hear. Scout's got some new animations in. Some of them were actually animated, some of them are just poses. She has a move up, move down, and some air attacks that I added that are fully animated. However, there are some that are just poses like her slide. She looks great with them in place, and they trick you into thinking I animated them, but I'm sorry, just not yet with a few. In fact, I should probably make a few more, if anything. Now, the biggest news is the enemy gauntlet system. Scouter has pacing where Scout has platforming sections and combat sections. I wanted to make sure this was in place because this is a major gameplay system and I needed it in. There's already little stuff with score and style meters behind the scenes on this, and I'm happy. There's also a really complicated door system, where doors can be customized for their open and closed state, and make it so that it can be any object, leading to rooms where Scout can spin in a circle and then eventually escape, which is super fun. Unfortunately, not much for enemy AI as of right now, but that's the next step with level design going into play too. Alright, so now there's just a lot of really small stuff, and I'll just list them off really quick. I added a level select so I don't need to worry about setting a new scene each time I boot the game up. There's also a HUD that actually works, score and time more so because enemies still don't hurt Scout yet. I was able to separate Scout's animation files better too, and make them enable and disable extra models if need may be. I added de-sticking to walls and ceilings so her dumbass actually falls off of them instead of Sonic 4ing back to where she launched. Same with the delayed rotation so she can jump off of them properly. I also added some stuff to the camera system so Scout can be off camera or have the camera lock at a certain distance. I did a test to see if Scout can stick to animated terrain, and she can, if it's not too fast. I need to keep track of little things like this because that was quite a lot. And the next 3 months are probably just going to be more things like that. So that's the end of this month in review. What to recommend to you faithful viewers at home. I'm kind of tired of saying something like Sonic or Devil May Cry for Scouter as a comparison, so for this month, I won't. I'm recommending Pizza Tower. It's a very lambastic action platformer in a very similar vein to the Wario Land games. Also, it's like a 90s cartoon as a game, fitting since Scouter and Draco Blood are 90s anime as games. Pizza Tower is a very good game though, I'd recommend it. So with that, stay tuned for next month. There's going to be an alpha for people to try and beat a few stages and gauge what's the most fun direction to go in. I hope to see you join that tier for $5 a month on Mighty Obstacle Studios Patreon in the description. With that, see you next month.